look at the bookkeeping aspect of the business, and basically is how you should record your transactions. And obviously this is what bookkeeping is all about. And I'm not going to go into the double entry system of bookkeeping where there is a debit and a credit entry. I'm just going to use a cash book format. You can buy a cash book from any good stationers that you can use for bookkeeping, but I have developed this bookkeeping format on this spreadsheet, and hopefully it will be self-explanatory as I'm going to go through it with you. Okay. The cash book is essentially split into like two columns really, the zero rated and the standard rate, because if you are VAT registered you might also be selling zero rated good as well. Okay, so that's why there is two columns. And obviously if you're not VAT registered, then you enter all your sales figures here. And like I said, it's quite explanatory. You've got your banking here, the amount of money that you pay into the bank each day. Let me just close that down. And then on this column you got your wages details that you pay for your staff. Either you pay them cash or check, and obviously the PAYE, pay as you earn, that you pay to the collective taxes. And here is a provision for your own drawings, okay, on the side. And these are the suppliers that you deal with in your everyday business. And if you're VAT registered, obviously whatever you paid, you put the cash amount here, the check amount here, and obviously the VAT amount there. And if you're not VAT registered, you just ignore the VAT element altogether and you enter the amount gross, either gross cash or gross check payments. And down here are the expenses, and it's quite explanatory when you look at this. Actually, you got your business rate, you got your gas and electricity, advertising, telephone, printing and stationery, just the standard general expenses that you will incur in the course of your business, like repairs, and motoring for fuel, and that's basically how this format of the cash book is set up. And then at the end of the week, you've got your closing cash balance, and obviously the bank balances that is carried forward. And bottom here you've got your VAT return format here to help you to submit your VAT form or online. And then a bit further down here you've got a summary of the input VAT that you have incurred, purchases excluding VAT, and the gross profit percentage, and the amount of stock that is carried forward, the estimated stock that is. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you now how to set the cash book up, and we need to go to week 1, as I've been previously discussing, talking about it already. We're actually on week 1, and then we need to set it up. Just slide across here. Obviously we need to set the dates, and I've got Mr. Sample here, and I'm dealing with this from April to April. So you need to find out, obviously the April start date is 6th of April 2010, and the week ending date, you have to fill this in, which is 10th of April, and then the spreadsheet will work all this out for you, actually, all these week ending dates for you automatically. But you need to fill in the year end date, which is the 5th of April 2011. As you can see, it falls into 53 weeks. In general, in most cases, in general, it will always have a 53rd week. Okay, right, and then we need to set up the VAT and the gross profit side of it, and it's here. It's quite simple to do. You just need to know what your selling price is, and obviously what you have paid it for, and then the difference is obviously calculated in terms of the gross profit, which is 50% here, and the markup is 100%. Now the VAT rate, obviously it's here, and if it's zero rated, you just set it to 0 over here, and if it's 17.5%, it's obviously set up like this one here, and as it is now is 20%, I'm going to change it to 0.2. That sets it for 20%. And if we go back to the left hand side of it, you'll see now that has changed to 20%. Okay, and now just to continue with the setup of this spreadsheet or workbook, if you like, we will need to obviously consider the cash introduce or any forms of fixture and fittings, any forms of purchases that you might have actually added to the business prior to opening, if you know what I mean. Yeah, okay, I have assumed that we've had fixture and fitting of £500. This obviously could be computer equipment. If you're working from home, obviously it'll be computing equipment. If you've got a shop, it'll be the actual fixtures and fittings that you have fixed to the wall, fixed to the floor, anything to do with repairs, if you like, to the property. And then obviously a motor vehicle, if you bought a motor vehicle, and the amount of stock that you have put into the business prior to opening. And goodwill obviously is something that you have actually bought. If you bought a business, then you will get these details from your solicitor and in the form of a completion statement, and obviously any cash in hand. And these will obviously not be something that you'll have to enter if it's a new business, but obviously this will be involved if it's a continuing business. Right, okay, as you can see, this total adds up to £1,000. Okay, so in keeping with double entry system, what it is on one side must also equal the amount on the other side. So because we have spent £1,000 here, and obviously we must have introduced £1,000, so that's where this £1,000 came from. I've moved to week 54 now. Okay, I moved to week 54 because this is where the trial balance is. As you can see, the capital is £1,000, and the stock, and obviously the fixtures and fittings, that all adds up to 1,000 on this side, and obviously it balances. And there's a summary of the adjustments here on week 54. I'll come to that in a minute. Okay, right, let's try and get the cash book working, and let's go back to week 1. Okay, as you can see, we are actually VAT registered, and we've got to pay a 20% in terms of VAT. Let's do a little bit of trading. Let's say, for instance, we've had £1,200 of sales, and we bought some goods. We paid it by cash, I don't know, £450. And the VAT is £74.70. Okay, we're not going to bother about the expenses side of it just yet. I'm just going to show you that now we got £750 of cash to carry forward for the next week. And if we just look at the trial balance at week 54, as you can see, it balances equally. And then let's look at week 53. That's almost the year end of it, yeah. And then we got the summary here. Let's look at week 55. This is the trading profit and loss account. As you can see, it's already calculated the figures for you, basically. And like I said, we've not spent anything on expenses, so that it will literally be zero here. and the depreciation charge, if you like, is from that fixture and fitting that we put down earlier, if you remember, of £500, and there's a charge of £75 as a depreciation, and so we made a profit of £425, as you can see here. 1,000 minus the 500 leaves us obviously £500, and then take away the 75 gives us 425, and the balance sheet here below us, and obviously the balance sheet balances. Okay, right, let's have a look. And here you can change the fixture and fitting rate. Okay, the fixture and fitting, I've set it at 15%, and the motor vehicle at 20%. Obviously you can change these. So in essence, the cash book or the workbook, whatever you enter on each page will produce you this particular trading and profit and loss account and the balance sheet at the end of the year, which is very useful, of course, and it will help you to submit to the Inland Revenue. Now if you look at the sheet 56, this is a summary of what you need to submit after it has been adjusted for tax. That's what you need to submit to the tax office, because there's certain element in the trading and profit and loss account which is not permitted. For instance, like the depreciation charge, it's not allowed, so we need to take this out as a disallowable expense. And then obviously the profit margin has gone up, if you like, and even though it's still represented by 425, we still got capital allowances to claim. Okay, the capital allowances is here. As you can see, we had the £500 of fixture and fitting, and obviously less the capital allowances of £75 gives us 425. And there are other things here actually if we bought a motor vehicle, but I'm not going to show you that just yet. And I think if I'm not going to show you, you can actually fiddle about with it actually on on the spreadsheets itself or the workbook itself, so that you can get a general idea how the workbook works. Let me just close this down, that keeps popping up. Okay, shall we add a little bit more just to let's go at let's say week 53. Let's say at week 53